Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Oh, you're fine. Well, since this is your first call, I want to tell you I love starting out my calls by having a win or a brag or something like that. Do you have anything?
Well, my win is that today is a much better day than yesterday ended. So that's my win.
Awesome. Well, good. That takes some intention to get over that when you've had a hard day.
Yeah.
Oh, way to go. Okay, so when you filled out your intake form, you wanted to talk about holding space and around other people and receiving inspiration. Is that still where you want to go with the call today?
Yes, although inspiration / like intuition type of thing.
Okay, so do you have a specific question, or do you just want me to talk about those things?
So I know that I receive inspiration sometimes just because ideas will pop up out of nowhere and I'm like, oh, that was inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a really hard time with intuition because I overanalyze everything. And so it's been really difficult for me to just be like, this is what my gut says. This is my intuition talking, and kind of recognizing that, if that makes sense.
So let me ask, what for you is the difference between intuition and inspiration?
So like when like inspiration, like I'll just be going along and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is something we could do, or this is something that, we could, I don't know, just ideas that pop up randomly. Whereas like when I'm trying to like make a decision and going with that gut feeling, kind of more of that intuition, like what do I haven't had an opinion for a very long time, and so I don't know what I want.
Okay. So for you, I just want to make sure I understand it right. Intuition is when you're asking a question and you're seeking the answer. Mm-hmm. Whereas inspiration can just be a thought that comes down to you at any time.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay. So one of my favorite things to do is have a notebook, just a small one that I can carry around with me. And this is more for those random thoughts that come your way. But so you're like, oh, wait, I had this thought, I should go check the mail, right? So I'll write it down. And then another thought will come to me, oh, you should have hit record, or make sure you hit record. Oh, and I'll write it down, obviously, if I can make sure I hit it at that time, I would do that too. But as different things come in, I write them down. And then I purposely will ask, okay, what thing on my list can I do today to follow through? And there's where I'm looking for that intuition. And, I'll like, should I do this? Should I do that? Kind of look at those and really determine and listen for that answer. And that helps build up. It's just a good practice to help build up that intuition. It helps you also with your inspiration, as you're acknowledging all the thoughts that are coming to you. It's just, honestly, there are times you just can't act at that moment, right? And sometimes you can't act on everything in one day. So that's why you take it and you're like, what is the most important thing on my list that I should follow through with today? And get your answer. Now, people hear answers very differently. I find that subtlety is usually how people experience it versus, the angel coming and saying, hey, here's your answer. Not saying that doesn't happen, but usually those the subtle nudges will come. Did that make sense?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, what questions do you have?
Um, I don't know. I think just some of the examples like go get the mail or hit record, like those are things that I feel like I can just act on. So I don't know, understand how you ask the question when you go through the list.
Okay.
Because it would be done.
Okay. Okay, so sometimes it's like I'm working, right? And I'll just get a thought of, oh, you need to text so and so. But I honestly, like right now, I wouldn't stop and text so and so. But I can jot down a note and I can say, hey, text Michelle and write that down and say I'm still like maybe I'm trying to think of a good example.
No, you're good.
Maybe I'm in the shower and well, that's a bad example because you can't really write down something when you're in the shower. But maybe I'm not dressed yet and I have the thought come to my mind, go check your freezer, then I can write that down. And I'll have a list of 5 or 6 things. I'm trying to think. Just today I was like, oh gosh, I had that thought and I didn't follow through, and I can't even remember what it was now, but I didn't write it down, nor did I ask like that day. And I remember vividly thinking, oh yep, I really didn't follow through on that. But you get your list of ideas and then okay, God, is God your language? Okay, awesome. I'm like, okay, God, what is the thing that you need me most to do today? And is that, take cookies to a neighbor? Is that go rake so-and-so's leaves? Is that make the phone call? Is that go check my freezer? For all I know, my freezer's not working. You know what I mean? Like, and then listen for that nudge. Do you meditate?
Only very recently and not for very long.
Hey, that's okay. Meditation takes practice. I'm just gonna, so I don't mess up how beautifully it is said. Oh, wrong person, dang it. Well, I thought I knew where I wrote it, so I don't know where I wrote it, dang it. But basically asking, what's one thing, like if your goal is based around money. And so you can say, what is one thing today I can do to move forward on my goal? And that's not going through your inspiration list. That's just, you've meditated and you're in that, meditative state. And then you just ask, what's one thing I can do to push the needle forward? And sit and listen, and it may come as an inspired nudge later in the day, or it may come as you're in that meditative state. But just give that some time to really tune in. And the more you practice, the easier it gets to recognize. So the more opportunities you give God, the quicker and more intuitive you'll become.
Okay.
So, any questions around that?
Nope.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Awesome. Awesome. Now tell me a little bit about this holding your space around other people.
So I am currently at home with my parents and my younger brothers,
Okay.
just because I just got back from Alaska and haven't decided where I wanted to live just yet. And
Okay.
I, was getting a job and just kind of putting all the pieces in place to know where I was going to move.
Okay.
And so that's all working out and we're moving forward with that. But so like my goal is around money. And I find that that's actually a really common topic around my household, but it's never in like the positive, we have enough, or, just in general, I feel like I'm working to be in that positive space. And a lot of the people that I come around or in contact with are not.
Right.
And like way far in the opposite direction sometimes. And so I just have a really hard time just holding my own space or having kind of my own boundaries, I guess. And maybe that'll come with actually doing module 4, because I haven't finished that one yet.
Right. No worries.
But I don't know. And like, there's a lot going on with like my mom's family. And so there's a lot of emotions coming up around that. And it just feels very heavy to be around a lot of those people.
Right. Okay. So one thing is you'll get what you're available for. So if you're available to it, it's going to keep coming at you.
Okay.
So you've got to decide that you're no longer available for those things happening. But there's more to it. Then you get to set your boundaries. So say you're in a conversation with your mom, and I'm just throwing out mom out there just because. And your mom starts talking about money, and she starts going down this rabbit hole that you want nothing to do with, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can say, Mom, I love you very much, but I'm no longer available to this type of conversation. Or if you don't want to be that direct, you can change the subject on her, and she's going to be like, wait, what? Like, what was that? And she's going to go right back to what she was talking about, because up to this point, you've been available for it. You've been available to listen, to empathize with her. And it's not that you don't want to know and care, but you just know that this is no longer the vibration you want to be at, right? And so she starts again, and she starts going down that rabbit hole, and you say, wait, Mom, stop. And you change the subject again. And soon enough, she's going to get, and it takes time and it takes practice. And I find being direct is a lot quicker of a result than redirecting the conversation. But if that's not comfortable to you, take that baby step and redirect the conversation into something more positive. You could even redirect it, stay on topic. Like, you know what, Mom, do you know what I'm listening to? I'm listening to this cool book called The Science of Getting Rich. And this is what I learned. Of course, she's going to, again, still be like, wait, what? Because that's different than what she's used to experiencing with you. So she might try to go back down that rabbit hole, and you can just, again, redirect that conversation and redirect that conversation. And as those experiences keep coming up for you and you hold your boundary tight, they're going to no longer talk to you about those things. They're just automatically going to stop talking to you about those things, because they will get that you're no longer available for that, and that you're no longer that sounding board. How does that feel?
A little bit scary.
Yes.
And it makes me wonder what we're going to talk about.
So prepare a little bit, like have some things in your pocket that you can talk about. Like, I'm a mom myself, and I love to hear about what my kids are doing and what they're learning. Maybe what made them decide to learn about that. She wants to hear about you and what you're doing. So redirect the conversation to be about you. You don't even have to tell her. I don't know if you've told her you're in a program. You don't have to tell her that. You can just, approach that however you want, but be like, gosh, mom, like I found this awesome book and it's teaching me some cool things. And I really want to implement this in my life. And I think it would be cool if you read it with me. Or, um, or, I've made this goal and I'm learning a new way of doing it. And I'd really love your support. And how do you feel about listening to what I have for my goal, mom? And, then going in and talking to her about your goal and why you decided to come up with this goal and why is it important to you. Again, using mom as an example, but the closer the relationship, I know the harder and the more scary it is. But she wants to hear, she does. She wants to hear about your life and what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And you get to open up and be a little bit vulnerable to her. It looks like there's some emotion there. Tell me what's going on.
So that's the other side of the coin that I don't really know what to do with. As I love my mother, I do.
Right.
And sometimes she goes to the other extreme where she's like overly supportive and like wants to be all up in it. And then that also makes me want to shut down. Sorry.
You're okay.
Just because to this point in my life, I've always felt like there have been super high expectations. And so moving forward and trying to achieve goals and do that sort of thing, like I want to, and it's something that I want to do, but it also makes me afraid of the expectations that are going to come up with it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Let them flow. So you've got some fear that maybe you won't live up to the expectations you feel your parents have for you. And it sounds like this is a pattern throughout your life.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any examples of when you felt like you met your parents' expectations? Times when you're like, I did it. And I know my parents are proud.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing one with me?
I served a mission. I
on your mission, is there an experience or anything that happened, as I'm sure there's probably many, where you really felt that support and that love coming from your parents?
So yes and no. They've always been really good. We're proud of you, we support you, we're behind whatever you decide. But I always feel like the rug's going to be pulled out from underneath me, and I have no basis for that to be the truth.
Okay.
But it's kind of they're my parents, they have to support me. They have to be proud of me, or what are they proud about? Like,
what would you rather think?
That That they love me for me and not for what I contribute.
Yeah. So can you think that instead?
Yeah.
Honestly, you served a mission, and that's not easy. You went out there and you rocked it for 18 months, did hard things all day, every day, and rocked it. And I'm sure your parents were cheering you on and every day, just like, we are so proud of Rickie. We're proud of her for working hard and not giving up. We're proud of her for showing her love of her Heavenly Father by serving a mission. We're proud of her because she's ours. So when those thoughts come up of, I'm not enough, because that's behind it all, that's really what's coming up. I'm not enough to be loved by my parents. Reframe those. Talk about how you kick butt. I mean, I'm assuming in Alaska, did you do fishing? The fishing?
I was at a fishing lodge.
And that is hard, grueling work from what I understand. I've never done it, but I have friends and family who have. You've done hard things. So take those experiences that you see and really talk yourself up because you deserve that. You've done hard things. You're doing hard things. You took a huge leap of faith joining this program. And you're putting yourself out there. I'm a complete stranger. And you're opening up and you're putting yourself out there and you're willing to work. That's huge. Huge. I'm excited for you to get to your libs. And you know, when we get that limiting belief around I am enough, it's going to change your world. Because you are enough. You are enough as you are, as you were, as you always have been, and as you always will be, just as you are. And I could preach that all day, and I believe it with all of my heart. Tell me what else is coming up or what else you'd like to talk about.
I think that was a lot of it.
Do you feel like that part's complete?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I was listening to module 3 last night, and as I was going through, I was like, wow, I actually spend 24 hours a day in a suffering state, so let's change that.
Yeah.
Because even my dreams are stressful.
I get that.
So literally 24 hours a day.
So yeah, that gets to change. And that massive awareness with zero judgment, right? So now you are very well aware that you spend too much time there. And now you just get to work on being in that beautiful state. Did you print off the beautiful state versus how to get into a beautiful state?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Good. I said, I love the what's working for me game. Did you got that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one's probably one of the most simple, easy ways for me to go back into a beautiful state. One of the other ways is taking a nap. That's probably my favorite way.
That's what I did last night. I was like, life sucks. I'm going to bed right now.
Good. That is the quickest, easiest way to stop that suffering state. So way to go. Way to go. Awesome. Do you want to talk about the beautiful and suffering states? Where do you want to go with the rest of our call?
Maybe just a clarification point, because moving into the beautiful state is not going to happen all at once, right? It's like 23 hours versus 24 hours, and that's good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Any and all progress. Well, I mean, we'll take, if all you can do is 5 minutes a day to start, you got 5 minutes, but consistently working on recognizing that massive awareness, zero judgment. So recognizing, oh, I'm in a suffering state. Do I really want to be here? No. How can I get out of this suffering state right now? And that's why I like the what's working for me right now game, because I can do that anywhere. Another one of my favorite ways, you'll hear me say this all the time, I love to dance. No good at it, but I love to like crank up that music and turn on a fun song and just dance. And that lifts my vibration really quickly. So if you have a beautiful states playlist, hey, I'm going to listen to this one song, even if you only can listen to it for 30 seconds, plug in your earbud at work or whatever, listen to it. And if all you can do is, I don't know what you're doing for your job, but if all you can do is like, sit here and sway in your chair, that's good enough, but that's honestly probably, besides a nap, my second favorite way to get into a beautiful state is by dancing. Music is such a healing instrument. So just doing what you can and keeping that massive awareness with zero judgment, because that judgment will just keep you in that suffering state. So, interesting. It's really interesting that right now I'm in such a suffering state. What are my thoughts that are going on? It's that curiosity part too, that really helps you get more awareness and figure out what's going on. You get to reconnect with, you said you've not had an opinion for a really long time. And now you get to reconnect with you and you get to have those opinions, and it's okay. It's okay that you don't agree with everybody. You don't have to please everybody else. You just get to be okay with making Rickie happy, with doing what's best for you. Do you do self-care?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay. I want you doing self-care 3 times a day. Now, it doesn't have to be anything completely hard or anything that takes, an hour. Schedule in some things that are more fun for you. I don't know if you enjoy pedicures or facials or things like that. A massage. Who doesn't want a massage, right?
Yeah.
And a good cheap way is a school. Go into a school for massage to get a cheaper massage. Sometimes you get what you pay for, but it's worth the risk.
I went to school there, so I know how that works.
Oh, good. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, like scheduling those things in, the bigger things in, but the small things, taking a big glass of water and just drinking that will ground you. And it's a great form of self-care. I have exfoliating soap by my sink, and I don't use it every time, but I use it about once a day, and I'll put it on my hands, and it's mango, pineapple or something like that. So it smells good. And I'll scrub my hands once a day, really just enjoying the fact that I'm exfoliating my hands so that I'm gonna have super soft hands. I make sure the water I like hot water. So I turn it on really hot, and I enjoy the hot water of the temperature of the water, and I wash my hands in that. I'm taking longer than 30 seconds here. I'm taking 2 minutes instead, And then I put hand softener on and just really feel that. And then I just feel on the softness of my hands. That's a fabulous quick way for me to give myself self-care. Some days it's okay. So makeup wise, I'm going to actually I'm going to do some eyeshadow. I'm going to do some blush, putting on makeup is if you do it differently than you do it every day is a form of self-care. Your meditation is a form of self-care. So starting your day off with meditation and in that form of pleasure is a great way to do the self-care. And exfoliating lips. I love to exfoliate if you can't tell. The dollar store has awesome you put them on your feet and it exfoliates your feet. They're feet masks. You put them on your feet and you let them sit there and then you rinse them off and it exfoliates your feet. Dollar store has the face mask. It's amazing what you can find at the dollar store that are even name brand of just feminine skincare things to just do a little bit of extra care that are fun. And pull in a best friend and do a face mask with a best friend. But if you need more ideas, like more simple little ideas, let me know. But remember, they bring pleasure in the moment. That's what for me, exercise is a no-go because I really did used to enjoy it. Now it's like, ugh, do I really have to do this? But if I'm out walking my dog, I really enjoy that. So that's a form of self-care for me, but sitting to an exercise video just isn't. Right. But if I were to do Zumba, again, I love to dance. So that Zumba brings me into that self-care mode versus the maintenance mode. So 3 times a day doing that self-care. And then I want you to really think about your boundaries and where you want to set those. And it's okay if you just set them, baby step them, if you don't feel you can do that hardcore set boundary, baby step your boundaries and get to the point where you're like, no, we're just not going to have this conversation. Not with me anyway.
Okay.
And then you're probably going to hate me for this one, but I want you to journal ways that you've rocked it. I know that can be hard.
Okay.
But if you need ideas, let me know. I don't know you very well, but I'm sure I can help you come up with some ideas on ways that you've rocked it.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Hey, awesome. Well, it was fun to meet you and get to talk with you today. I will send this video recording over with a few notes, and you can watch it, the replay if you need to, or you can just refer to the notes, whatever you want to do. So, okay. And we look forward to hearing from you. Oh, I forgot to ask, is Facebook Messenger or email the better, the way you prefer to communicate?
Probably Facebook Messenger, just because that one pops up as a notification and generally my emails don't.
Okay. That'll be perfect then. So awesome. Thanks, Rickie.
Okay. Thanks, Shelly.
Yep. We'll see you.
Bye.